Hi, everyone. Welcome to First and North. My name is Lou Canellis. Training camp right around the corner. Rookies report this week. Veterans come next week. Joining me this week on First and North from Fox in Detroit, Jennifer Hammond. From Fox Milwaukee, Lily Zhao. And from Fox Minneapolis, there he is, Ahmad Hicks. All right, guys, I've been on vacation. Excited to be back with all of you. What did I miss, Ahmad? Did I miss anything big?
Are you quoting Drake right now? You know, he just released a song that said, "What did I miss?" Or have you been spending time with Drake on your vacation here, Luke?
Yes. What do you think, Jen? Lily, did I miss you? I missed you guys.
Yeah, I think you missed a little marriage. You missed a little marriage, a little match made in heaven between Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson.
Well, you know what? I do want to start with the big news around here in Chicago, and that is exactly what you just talked about, Jen. Bears GM Ryan Poles reportedly picked up a contract extension, aligning his contract along with head coach Ben Johnson's through the 2029 season. Let me give you my feelings on this, guys. Poles' record in his 3 years as GM here in Chicago with the Bears, 15-36. 2 10-game losing streaks, 3-15 inside the NFC North, 4-20 against playoff teams. You get the message. Not good. But I understand why the Bears gave him the new deal. And I'll be honest, I agree with the move. Because when the Bears decided to let Poles handle the coaching search that eventually brought Johnson to Chicago, the decision was made at that point to keep Ryan Poles. Number one, Johnson had his pick of multiple jobs out there, and he chose the Bears. Why? I'll give you 65 million reasons why. He also saw Caleb Williams' talent, and he felt like he could mold this team and Williams, a generational quarterback, potentially. I really believe that Johnson felt like he had built some type of chemistry quickly with Ryan Poles. And, you know, they had discussions. They felt like they could work together. No doubt about it. Poles has had his misses, but he's also made some good moves as GM of this franchise. The trade with Carolina, which was a complete steal, the TJ Edwards signing at linebacker, and his work, frankly, this offseason rebuilding the offensive line, adding a couple of members to the defensive line as well. We feel good about the draft. But most important, after everything I just said, I truly believe that team president Kevin Warren likes, trusts, respects, gets along with Ryan Poles. And there's a sense of comfort and consistency, continuity, that keeping Poles around for at least the next 3 years and hopefully the next 5 years of this contract will, in the long run, help this franchise most. Now, teams report to training camp in a matter of days. Bears and Lions camp. Tickets sold out in a matter of minutes. What are some of the things that we should be looking for in training camp? And Ahmad, I'll start with you. What do you think in Minnesota?
I think just consistency with the offensive line. They're all new. Well, I won't say they're all new, but the 3 interior players. And then you want to see the confidence in J.J. McCarthy. I'm sure mistakes will happen. You know, there will be some tough days for him being the starting quarterback for the Vikings. But how do you persevere through those tough times? I think that's one thing we'll all be keeping an eye on. Plus the cornerback position here in Minnesota. A lot of turnover there. Byron Murphy Jr., he returns, but you got Jeff Okudah coming in and Isaiah Rodgers from the Philadelphia Eagles. So kind of a new look secondary, especially with no Cam Bynum. So consistency, you know, you want to see that from the offensive line, how they're all meshing and everywhere on the team. So I think it's all important, but I don't think you want to put too much into the basket, you know, when you're talking about looking at training camp and being like, oh my God, they're going to win only 7 games this year. Like, training camp is where you get the kinks out, where the defense gets the best of the offense some days, and then vice versa with the offense beating the defense.
Ahmad, are you happy with where that Vikings roster is today as we get set for training camp next week?
I mean, yeah, as a fan and a journalist that gets to cover this team, absolutely. It's fun. And I mean, Dan Orlovsky from ESPN said it best. That's the second best place to play if you're a quarterback in the National Football League. So, yes, a lot of question marks surrounding J.J. McCarthy and what he's going to look like in his first full year starting for the Vikings. But, I mean, when you got all the skill makers around like they do here in Minnesota and Brian Flores leading that defense, it's certainly exciting heading into the season for us journalists.
All right, Jen, take me to Detroit. What are you looking for out of the Lions at training camp?
Well, I just want to kind of follow up and echo what you were talking about with the Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson situation. And I think nowhere is it more important for hand and glove to work between the general manager and the coach than it is in the NFL. They work so intimately, and they have to make sure that they are on the same page for success to happen. You see all of the teams that have ever won Super Bowls, they have that type of relationship between the front office and the head coach. And if you don't have it, you don't have a chance to compete for a title, in my opinion. And here in Detroit, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are absolutely lockstep with culture, with the guys they like, with the way they build this team, and the way that they will continue to carry themselves and also make sure that their team performs. So I really like that move for Chicago, and I do think that it's going to help the Bears in the long run. As for the training camp situation, it gets a little interesting, right? Because here we have Tate Ratledge, a guy who is expected to be the starting center with the retirement of Frank Ragnow. And because of the fact that these second-round picks now are looking for those guaranteed deals, and they are banding together and not signing the contracts, he remains unsigned at this point in time. And that is going to be critical for the Lions, who start camp this Sunday. July 20th is their first practice, which is much earlier than usual because they have that Hall of Fame game on the 31st. So it's going to be imperative for, I think, every NFL team to get their second-round guys signed, to get this thing straightened out and make sure, whether it's an NFLPA situation or however it unfolds, that they get those guys under contract and in camp, because the Lions can't afford to go into camp without knowing that they have a young center to groom, mold. He is the guy that I think they are depending on the most, and I don't think any of them will say they're worried out loud, but they should be worried if they don't have him in there every single day working in camp.
All right, Jen, I want to get into what you were talking about, and that is the holdouts amongst the second rounders. There's 33 holdouts in the NFL right now. 30 are second round selections. I'll get to that in a second, but I do want to keep it with you before I bring in Lily. You touched on the progress that they made in Detroit, and I look at what Brad Holmes has done as GM, and we've seen progress there. 3 wins, 9 wins, 12 wins, 15 wins. Now he's getting ready for year 5 after taking the job in January of 2021. We haven't seen that type of progress here in Chicago with Ryan Poles. Was aligning the contracts between Poles and Johnson more important than the results we saw on the field, in your opinion?
Well, no, not necessarily. And I understand the skepticism for people who think it was not a great idea to extend him. But at the end of the day, you've got to have the cook and the guy that's buying the groceries all on the same page. And if they're going to try to make success in Chicago and build a team, a program with Ben Johnson, really dealing with a young quarterback and a really young team, and by all accounts, they've made improvements along the offensive line, which is important. But I think that also speaks to Poles doing what Ben Johnson says that he needs. And I think it's going to be important for them to stay together. And I do think you will see improvement this season for sure.
All right, Lily, take me to Detroit. Take me to Green Bay. Excuse me. What are we expecting out of the Packers at camp?
Yeah, I think there's 3 really big positional battles that we should be looking forward to if you're a Packer fan, and that's offensive line, cornerback, and receiver. And so just going off of the second-round holdouts, the Packers also have one in terms of Anthony Belton. It's their second-round offensive lineman that they picked up. They really like him, really big guy, can bring a lot to the offensive line, and could be a guy that could be competing for a starting spot. So the fact that he's not signed as well is not ideal. Then, of course, you have Elton Jenkins, their Pro Bowl left guard, making the move to center this year. He's also kind of in that same situation, trying to work out his contract. So the Packers have 2 key guys on the offensive line that, at least right now, starting training camp, are not going to be practicing. So that's something to keep an eye on. But first and foremost, it's what does that starting 5 look like around Jordan Love? They bring in Aaron Banks to play left guard, so there's a lot of moving pieces along that line that they have to shore up. Of course, cornerback, without Jair Alexander, you have Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Carrington Valentine. Who's that 4th guy that the Packers have at corner? So which one of the young guys kind of gets that spot? And of course, wide receivers is how many guys do they carry into the regular season, and what does Matthew Golden look like? So a lot of training camp storylines that we will be following in Green Bay, because there's a lot really to suss out for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, Bears are excited to get out there under new head coach Ben Johnson. We've touched on it over the last couple of months here since he picked up the job, and he has set the tone early for what he expects out of his team. He's intense, and he's all about the little things and cutting out the mistakes immediately. Obviously, we're going to watch the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams relationship develop, and best to see some progress from Williams, that's for sure. Also, one of the other big storylines that I'll be following, and that is who is going to be starting at left tackle. Will Braxton Jones end up on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, to start training camp because of the ankle surgery that he's coming off of, which would then give Karan Amagaji and rookie Ozzie Trapillo valuable playing time? That is one of the key storylines that I'll be keeping an eye on at Hallis Hall in Lake Forest when we watch the Bears. Which rookie will you be watching most, and which rookie do you think has the best chance to have a major impact in the division? I'm going to go back to you, Lily, because I really thought the Matthew Golden selection in the draft was huge for the Packers. Do you think he has a chance here to emerge as wide receiver 1 for Green Bay?
Absolutely. I think what really hampered Jordan Love last year was the amount of drops from his receivers who were very steady his first year as a starter. And so you kind of had a dip in production from your receivers and your reliable receivers. So there were, I think, 19 drops between two really capable guys, and that really hurt in terms of his numbers and just his confidence out there with his guys to know that when he's putting a ball out there, it's going to be caught. So the fact that Matthew Golden comes in as a great route runner, really good hands, really good in the red zone, that bodes well for Jordan Love. I mean, we saw the potential he has the bottom half of his rookie season. He went on to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. That's the Jordan Love the Packers expect to see. You bring in a weapon like Matthew Golden, and you believe that pair is going to be building some offseason chemistry to have that, really good touchdown ratio this season. So the Packers are hoping that Jordan Love finds Matthew Golden for many touchdowns this season. But I think that having him as a really big impact rookie helps really both guys. And so I think the Packers have a lot of high expectations on Golden to perform. Of course, their first wide receiver pick in the first round in 22 years. So a lot of eyeballs on Golden this year for sure.
Ahmad, I want to talk about J.J. McCarthy, but I know he's not a rookie. Give me a rookie to keep an eye on in Minnesota.
Donovan Jackson. I think he's the most important rookie that they have on this team, because if he can't protect the left side of that interior offensive line, the Vikings are going to be in trouble. Or Ryan Kelly and Christian Darrisaw, who's returning from an ACL injury, will have to pick up a lot of the workload. So Donovan Jackson, they spent the first-round draft pick on this guy. They said it was their guy, their offensive lineman that they wanted. So he has to go out there and pretty much start from day one, because they don't really have a backup guard that can prove to be a starter. Blake Brandel was that guy in years past, and he didn't pan out. So Donovan Jackson, most important rookie, I believe, on the Vikings roster that they have, that we all need to be focused on this year.
Hey, Jen, Tate Ratledge going to win the starting center job?
Well, we need to see him in camp, but I do think that he is starting center number 1 to start camp. So as long as he can continue to perform and be out there, be healthy, be available, he will be the starting center for the Detroit Lions. It's going to be fun to watch his maturity, and especially because he's got some great veterans around him. I mean, they've still got Taylor Decker. Penei Sewell is just a stud and a leader for this team. So I think it's going to be a great season for the Lions offensive line, despite some of the changes and reconfiguring we've seen along the front 5. And for Jared Goff, that's huge, and especially as it equates to the Lions' run game. As we know, play action has really been kind of the charm of this Lions offense throughout the years to make things go for formerly Ben Johnson's offense and now John Morton's offense and Jared Goff. So I think it's going to be really important that that offensive line is stout, and I do think that Tate Ratledge is the guy that's going to have that job if he wants it, works hard enough for it, and is able to prove himself in camp.
He hasn't signed his rookie deal yet, has he?
He has not signed his rookie deal,
He's
and
a
that
guy,
is the situation going on right now. So they're really kind of holding their breath. I mean, as it stands now, we don't know if he'll be in camp day 1 because of all of those second rounders that are going on with that issue about the guaranteed money. As you mentioned, 30 of the 33 guys that don't have contracts signed are all second rounders, and they're trying to get their money, which I fully understand. I will never begrudge a player for ever trying to get the most out of their careers, when, especially in the NFL, it is highly volatile. The average career is 3 years. Guys just want to try to get to 10. I understand what they're looking for here, and it doesn't make any sense for them not to get him signed before camp. But if this turns into a situation where guys are all holding out together en masse, it's going to be complicating for the NFL.
No, he's got to get in there, just like Ozzie Trapillo, a second-round pick. Bears had 3 second-round picks. Okay,
it's
Shimon
huge.
Turner, Luther Burden the third, and Ozzie Trapillo. And Trapillo's a guy that has an opportunity to get some time at left tackle, potentially start. He needs to tell his agent, listen, I don't care what's going on. I need to sign that deal. I need to be in at camp, and I need to get my reps right now. We need to take a timeout. NFL scouts and coaches and executives rank the top 10 quarterbacks. Well, I just think that it's, listen, I get what's going on out there, but some of these second-round picks have an opportunity to start in the league this year as a rookie. And if they have that opportunity, they need to be at camp. We're going to discuss the quarterback situation and the list of quarterbacks and the Netflix series as well. I want to talk about the quarterback Netflix series. We're going to peel it back and talk about what we've seen so far. We'll have more right after this here on First and North.
Major League Baseball on Fox.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do it.
Oh my goodness! Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
Welcome back to First and North. Lou Canellis at our Fox 32 studios in Chicago. Jennifer Hammond is in Detroit. Lily Zhao, Milwaukee. Ahmad Hicks, Fox Minneapolis. All right, ESPN released an article, the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, according to the executives and coaches and scouts that ESPN talked to. I want to get into it a second. First of all, the top 5. Starts with Patrick Mahomes. No surprise. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and at number 5, second-year quarterback Jayden Daniels. To round out the list, at 6 is Matthew Stafford, then Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Baker Mayfield. All right, I want to start with Jayden Daniels, and let me bring in the outspoken Ahmad Hicks, who I know who is not going to hold back. Come on, man. Daniels has played 1 season in the NFL, and he's a top 5 quarterback?
I was making the same argument about Jalen Hurts a couple of years ago after he took to the Eagles to the Super Bowl and they lost. And in my group chat, a lot of my friends were saying he's a top 5 quarterback. And I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. But I think when people look at these lists, they just look at what have you done lately. And I think if you look at Jayden Daniels' body of work and what he did last season as a rookie, and all the upside that he has, you kind of have to put him in that category for one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, especially when you look at the weapons that they surrounded him with. You only expect him to take that second-year leap and not a step back. So, I mean, look, do I agree with the list and him being, ranked at 5 over Jalen Hurts, who just won the Super Bowl? No. But, I mean, I can understand where these people are coming from. This guy is a stud. And if you look on the fantasy projection board right now, Jayden Daniels is one of the top quarterbacks. So maybe, people know something we don't know.
Oh, come on, man. You and I know everything. Jen, Jared Goff listed at number 8 behind Justin Herbert and Matthew Stafford. You're not buying that.
No, I'm not buying it at all. And here's what's interesting, and this is why Ahmad's argument does not hold water at all. If it was about a total body of work, then Jared Goff would be number 2 on this list. Because as of last season, he was number 2 in completion percentage, 72%, best of his career. He was number 2 in passing yards, 4,629. He was number 2 in passer rating at 111.8. He was also 4th in touchdown passes, 37, a career best against just 12 interceptions. And he was great throughout the whole entire season. He had one stretch where he went 5 games without throwing a single interception. When you talk about body of work, his entire 2024 season was much better than number 8 on this list. But if they're looking at what have you done for me lately, then they went to the Commanders game, and that says it all. He had 1 touchdown against 3 interceptions. His completion percentage was only 57%, and they lost that game. So I'm thinking that that's how Jayden Daniels got ahead of Jared Goff on this list, because he beat him in a playoff game that meant an awful lot. But Goff had one of his worst games of the season, and Jayden Daniels had one of his best.
You're right.
So
You're
technically, I was a little bit right then.
Yes, exactly. I was going to defend you too, Ahmad. I know that Jen took a shot at you, but I was going to defend you because Ahmad didn't agree with his friends. He was just making a point. And you're exactly right. I mean, they look at that one game. And I also subscribe by this theory as well. Year two, when defensive coordinators have the offseason now to formulate game plans to stop a Jayden Daniels, becomes a far different story for some quarterbacks than others. We'll see how Jayden Daniels plays in year two. How in the world Jalen Hurts is number 9, I just don't get it, because the guy's done nothing but win. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1, was an MVP. I think Justin Herbert, frankly, at 7 is a little too high. Don't get me wrong, the guy's put up some great numbers, and he's a hell of a talent, but he's had no success in the playoffs, and it is about leading your team in the postseason. That's what brings him down for me. Lily, Jordan Love gets paid like a top 5 quarterback. 4 years, $220 million. He shouldn't be in the top 5. Should he be in the top 10?
I know a lot of people are going to say, obviously, based off of how he played last year, he doesn't deserve to be in the top 10. Obviously, we know the interception numbers were way up from when they were his rookie season. So listen, I can kind of see the argument for him being number 11 or 12 or whatever he was on the list. And the fact is, you know, you can ask Jordan Love, he doesn't care. It's like a list, whatever. I'm just going to go out there and play my game and try to be a top 10 quarterback this fall. And so for him, listen, the production was down, but you could say he was injured. His receivers dropped footballs. The interception numbers were up. He was a little too risky sometimes with his throws. So again, you learn in your sophomore season as a starting quarterback, and you get better, and you just really have to improve in your 3rd year as a starter. And so that's what the Packers are hoping to see. Again, we know the ceiling is there for him to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback. Just the question of, can he get back there this season with the weapons around him?
Well, he'll have Matthew Golden alongside this year to help out. Netflix's series Quarterback released last week. We showed the clip of Kirk Cousins and his decision to leave Minnesota. This week we relive the infamous stumble bump play that still gives Bears fans like myself nightmares. Take a listen.
That was a Ben special. He came up with that one.
Hey, dance the Trey Wright Classy. Stumble bum.
On Monday that week, I was in his office. We're just hanging out, kind of getting an idea of what he likes for the week. The first thing he showed me was the clip of Jordan Love actually fumbling. He said, "You think you could do this?" And I'm like, I actually was like, "What do you mean? Like fumble? Like you want me to fumble?"
All we're trying to do is get the guy who's running with the sneaky, and then we're going to sneak behind him.
So that was on Monday, and then by the time it got to Wednesday, we're like, hey, we're not going to actually put it on the ground. We're just going to pretend to fall. And then as the week went on, it's like, hey, the running back needs to fall too. That's going to sell the play even more.
Hey, this stumble bum might take like that much longer for me to throw it, okay?
Okay, yeah, and actually everyone up front, you're going to yell fumble.
Oh my gosh, it was so great. And Ben Johnson not only ran the stumble bump play against the Bears, but don't forget he ran that pass play for Penei Sewell on Thanksgiving, Jen, that didn't work. I was looking back at what happened last year. Lions completed 3 passes that weren't thrown by a quarterback last season, and even receiver Jamison Williams threw a pass in the playoffs that backfired in that game. Jen, I know you know Ben Johnson better than I do because of your experience, your years with him over there when he was offensive coordinator. This guy better have something up his sleeve week 2 against the Lions. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm sure he absolutely will, but it's funny, of all the teams that he's not going to be able to pull it over on, it's going to be the Lions defense, which is going to be much more improved and also healthier this season. But I think what's so interesting, too, is just the play between Jared Goff and Ben Johnson. They were so like-minded, and watching that episode particularly, it made me wonder and question if the relationship between John Morton and Jared Goff is going to be as, aligned. It's really a complicated process in this league, as you know, to find someone who is so like-minded with you, that's calling the plays. And a lot of times you would see Jared standing out there in the huddle waiting to hear the play come in, and he'd be saying, call this, call this, call this, and then all of a sudden Ben would call it. They really were completely aligned.
All right, we're going to find out. We need to take our final timeout. Next on First and North, would you allow your team's quarterback to give you a tattoo? Wait till you see this right after this timeout.
This is the future of golf. It all starts here. Live Golf on Fox.
This is going to be hot. It'll be a party. Long live golf.
Let's go!
We're back on First and North. Players around the NFL having fun before training camp. That includes Bears quarterback Caleb Williams there. Yeah, the guy's been at rock concerts, Fanatics Fest, and now he's got a side job as a tattoo artist. Check this out. Yeah, he tattooed the Bears logo on a Chicago native, Larry Lemonade founder Cole Bennett. And it begs me to ask this question as we close out the show. Ahmad Hicks, would you let J.J. McCarthy draw a tattoo on you?
No, you don't put bumper stickers on a Bentley, and especially if you're not licensed to do so. So absolutely not. I have no tattoos. Don't plan on getting any anytime soon.
Jen, Lily, doesn't surprise me. Okay, bumper stickers on a Bentley.
Right. He thinks highly of himself. That's good. We like that for him, Ahmad. I would never get
I
a
didn't come up
tattoo,
with
but
that.
I
Somebody
think if
told
Jared
me that,
Goff
but
was
I
going
like
to do
it.
it,
It's stuck.
I would do it. I would do it. Just a little one.
You guys are great. Always good to see you. I'm glad I'm back. For Jennifer, Lily, and Ahmad, I'm Luke Canellis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week here on First and North.